Bye.
Are you driving up there?
What you just saw was a dad on the edge, desperately searching for his kidnapped daughter. He gets a call from the FBI that his 11-year-old daughter, Leah, abducted on May 1st, 2001, has been found. But here's the thing. He's in the dark, clueless. Minutes earlier, he was clueless, driving like a madman. So what exactly happened in between all of this chaos? Let's start with Leah's disappearance. In 2001, Leah Henry, an 11-year-old girl in Southwest Houston, vanished on May 1st. That morning, she excitedly hopped on the school bus, looking forward to a celebration. By 5 p.m., panic set in at home. Leah hadn't returned. School and friends yielded no information. A neighbor claimed to have seen her getting into a car with a man. Police were called, initiating a citywide search. 2 similar kidnappings hinted at a pattern. A white hatchback, a predator targeting girls aged 9 to 11. As Leah remained missing for 24 hours, the FBI joined the search on May 2nd. Her parents pleaded on television, and over 200 volunteers scoured the city. Disturbingly, the elusive kidnapper mirrored Leah's case. A white, middle-aged man driving a white hatchback had been targeting young girls for months, managing to evade law enforcement. The clock was ticking, and hope dwindled with every passing hour. On May 4th, 3 days post-abduction, Leah's father, Tim, received a call from the FBI.
Where are you going now, Tim? Are you driving up there?
The call revealed that his daughter Leah had been found over 250 miles away at the Kerr County Sheriff's Department. Tim and his family were escorted into a secure room, where they learned that Leah was alive, but visibly upset. The captor's whereabouts remained undisclosed. Leah returned home, surrounded by her parents and big sister, greeted by a cheering crowd. Despite the smiles, her eyes held the weight of an unspeakable ordeal. News of her rescue spread globally, but only Leah could shed light on the horrors she endured. Leah's terrifying journey began on May 1st after she arrived home from school. As she stepped off the bus and began her walk, a white car approached. The driver, a stranger, inquired if she babysat. Adhering to her awareness of not talking to strangers, Leah politely declined and continued on her way home. A bit further down the street, nearing her house, the man maneuvered his car onto the sidewalk, blocking her path. He casually suggested she meet his children, appearing like a regular dad in normal clothes with glasses.
He was in normal clothes, he had glasses on. He was very friendly, nice to me. I felt like I was just with a normal dad, that dads were okay.
Despite her instincts, Leah engaged in a few minutes of conversation and eventually accepted a ride. As the car started moving, the man abruptly reached over, breaking off the door handle. Leah, taken aback, sensed something was wrong, but being only 11 years old, couldn't fully grasp the man's intentions. Upon entering a back alley near a local restaurant, her instincts intensified. She felt imminent danger. The situation escalated when the man revealed a gun and duct tape, using them to tie her hands and ankles and seal her mouth shut. Ordered to duck down, the car resumed its journey. In what felt like an endless span of time, Leah, helpless and bound, was driven further away from home. Unable to see the outside world, the sun long gone, the car finally stopped around 11 p.m. in an open field beside a highway. Secluded, Leah faced a traumatic order to undress and crawl in the back. Uncertain of what was happening, Leah attempted to scream and find relief from the pain that followed. But when it was over, tears welled up and the haunting experience lingered. Back on the road, the car moved slowly, prompting Leah to consider the broken door handle. With her hands still tied, she threw herself at the door, attempting to escape. But her efforts proved futile. The man, witnessing her attempt, ominously warned her that she would pay for it. Shortly after, he pulled over again, delivering what he described as punishment for her behavior, coupled with a stern warning of severe consequences if she attempted to escape once more. At this point, after enduring an unimaginable amount of trauma, Leah felt a profound sense of despair and contemplated giving up. As the night stretched, she felt that she was clearly going to kill her. Late into the night, at 7:45, Leah, bound and terrified, witnessed a man driving to a small hunting cabin. The nightmare continued as he compelled her to walk inside at gunpoint, securing her hands above her head with rope this time. Placing the gun atop the TV, he deadbolted the door, ensuring there was no escape from this isolated prison. Once again, he subjected Leah to a horrifying assault. The first morning of captivity did no help. As Leah woke, the man tied her to a table with a zip tie, emphasizing the consequences of attempting an escape and that her family would be his target. Scarred by the previous night's brutality, Leah hesitated, gripped by fear. The man departed, leaving Leah tied and alone, isolated in the vast wilderness. Resourceful and desperate, Leah struggled to free herself. Wriggling out of the zip tie, she gained some mobility within the cabin. The thought of escape crossed her mind, contemplating the window as a potential route. However, the fear of unknown beyond the cabin overwhelmed her. Fearing that everyone in the area might be like her captor or, worse, that another predator might harm her, she chose to stay within the confines of her makeshift prison. Meanwhile, Leah's psychological struggle intensified as she grappled with the uncertainty of her family's fate. She couldn't imagine the hopelessness her father must be experiencing, crushed at the thought of her parents tirelessly searching, their efforts ultimately in vain. The internal conflict raged within her, wanting her family to find her, yet not wanting them to endure the pain of searching. As the sun set on May 2nd, the man returned, signaling Leah to quickly bind herself once more. Her cruel taunts included a newspaper featuring her sister's distraught face, a heartbreaking yet reassuring sight. Leah drew strength from knowing her parents were actively searching for her. Despite the man's attempts to break her spirit, Leah clung to the belief that her family's relentless efforts would lead her to rescue. Determined to survive, Leah grappled with the harsh reality of dealing with a sick and twisted captor. Balancing the need for compliance with her intense desire to return to her family, she made a sharp decision. She would go through everything he asked, biding her time until she could break free. On the second morning of her captivity, Leah seized the moment of opportunity as her captor leaves the cabin. Using a hidden camera from her school bag, she meticulously documents her surroundings, capturing evidence that might aid her rescue. Leah, determined to outsmart her captor, also writes detailed notes in her agenda, encircling the horror that she had gone through. These actions would become her lifeline, a silent plea for help if someone were to find her. Her captor's return marks another night of unspeakable abuse, but Leah, resilient for her family, endures it. On the third morning, unexpected chaos ensues outside the cabin. The man rushes in, urging Leah to dress quickly. They are leaving. Unaware to Leah, the cops, responding to a tip, were closing in. With a pillowcase over her head, Leah is guided to the car. As they drive, a pivotal moment unfolds. Sergeant Beliter, following a lead, encounters a red-painted car, unaware it was recently transformed from white. Inches away from the kidnapper, the officer remains oblivious. Simultaneously, Leah, crouched in the back, hears the confrontation unfold. The tension builds as she contemplates a potential shootout. In her daring escape, Leah seizes the moment, running toward the cop car amid the chaos. Ordered to duck down, she hears gunshots, fearing the worst. Sergeant Beliter swiftly grabs her from the danger zone, delivering the words that echo miles away to Leah's father.
We found her. She's alive. I dropped the phone. We just jumped up. Police officer was there. Within 5 minutes, we were out of the house, down to the FBI headquarters.
A local pilot volunteers to fly Tim and his family the 300 miles to Kerrville. At the same time, Leah is escorted back to the sheriff's department in a police car.
I don't know if I felt safe yet. And I think what I needed was to be held by my family, because that was the only thing that was going to make me understand that it was truly over.
At the Kerr County Sheriff's Department, Leah is reunited with her mom and dad and her big sister. Tim hugs his daughter tightly, relieved to finally have her back.
I don't think I've ever been that happy. And that's true. I can't ever think of another moment in life that has brought that kind of joy to me.
I remember giving her the longest hug. She's here. I still have my sister here.
The reunion at the Kerr County Sheriff's Department is tearful and triumphant. Leah, once bound and broken, is embraced by her family. Her resilience, meticulous documentation, and the swift action of law enforcement converge, ending her nightmare.
I don't think I've ever been that happy. And that's true. I can't ever think of another moment in life that has brought that kind of joy to me.
I remember giving her the longest hug. She's here. I still have my sister here.
Leah's sister.
Meanwhile, Sergeant Beliter and the police force identifies him as Gary Dale Cox, and were closing in on his cabin. When they arrive, they find Cox outside with a gunshot wound to the head. He took his own life. While it's a relief that he can't harm anyone else, Leah wishes she had a say in his punishment. Returning home, she's met with overwhelming support, bringing an uncontrollable smile to her face. Today, Leah is thriving, proud of her strength and resilience. Despite the trauma, she pursued her dream of becoming a marine biologist. After 22 years, her life is complete and happy. Leah's journey is one of hope, showing that despite life's challenges, recovery is possible. She emphasizes that even in scary times, there's a way through, encouraging others not to give up, just as she didn't when determined to return home to her family. Now, what do you guys think about it? Did he deserve the punishment that he gave himself? Do drop your thoughts in the comments section below, and we'll meet again with another story.